Clemson?
Well, first, thanks for everybody being on. It's been a week of excitement and also a week to think back on the year that we had, and thankful for a lot of people and that have kept us safe and healthy. The NCAA has done a really good job since Selection Sunday. We got here to the hotel and it's very organized, trying to keep everybody safe and COVID free, and we're thankful for that. And throughout the course of the week now, we're just trying to settle in, trying to get our bodies and minds right to play a really good Clemson basketball team. Devoured a lot of tape and have a tremendous amount of respect for their program. I think it's their 29th NCAA appearance, and they've got a bunch of Sweet 16s and a program that's coached by Brad Brownell, who's been there 11 years and done a really, really good job. So a lot of respect for them. And the more I watch tape, the more I really like their program and like their system a great deal. So we'll have plenty of challenges, but our guys have been good, practiced well. We had a great session yesterday. I think we're kind of locked in, but I do think they're excited about being here. It was a 2-year journey too for us to get here. I do think they're excited about not having to answer those questions anymore about 30 years ago. And, moving forward here, the opportunities in front of us, you got to play well. This is a tournament of champions and winners. You got to play well and on every aspect, and guys got to be locked in and we're looking forward to playing Friday night.
Thanks, Coach. For anybody with a question, you can use the raise hands tool to let me know. We'll start off with Jerry Carino.
Hi, Steve. You've been in this tournament before as a player, an assistant coach, and a head coach. Can you give us a sense of how this is different? Considering what everybody had to endure to get here and what everybody sacrificed to get here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just obviously a real unique year, and it was a 2-year journey too. I just can't stress that enough. It wasn't just this year. Last year, our guys had to win every game last year, in order to get here, and it just kind of carried over to this season. And not only the opponents you have to play, but now you added an invisible, virus. And I've said this many times: whoever navigates COVID the best would have a chance to have a special season, and no stoppages or pauses for our program. So tip of the hat to our guys and the medical staff and all the testing too. But just very, very different. The ticket demand, it's COVID. So that used to be a big part of everything. I wish all Rutgers Nation could be out here, because I know they would be large, and a large contingent would be coming, and they would really enjoy this experience. So for that, it's different. We're in a hotel, and we're kind of within our bubble, trying to make sure everyone stays safe. And I said to our guys, the alternative was last year, and they understand. We're really excited about being here and in the bubble, doing what we have to do, because last year's alternative wasn't what anybody wanted, not having the tournament. But it's exciting, and I think the guys are going to get a taste of our times. They already have. We've been on every show and radio show, and every guy, we're trying to make sure every guy gets a part of it too. So, I think that's been excited, and the way we've been practicing, we feel pretty good about where we are right now.
We'll go next to Bruce Beck from NBC.
Hey, Steve.
Bruce.
Just the Big Ten Wars and how it has equipped you for this first game, and hopefully for many other games in the tournament. How would you look at it in that regard?
Well, I will tell you, because of the different styles in our league, and because of the different way teams play, there's always a team that kind of reminds you of your opponent. And, Maryland is that team with this game, and Clemson beat Maryland. But they have a center that could really shoot the ball. He's a matchup problem, as Maryland does. Play great defense like Maryland. So I do think we have a little bit of advantage in our league because of all the different styles that everybody plays. We've kind of faced every different kind of style and every different kind of great guards, or a great big guy, or a great pick and roll guy, or a great wing player. I think we've kind of seen it. We have zone teams in our league. We have teams that play at a slow pace. We have Michigan State plays at a real fast pace. you just got a lot of different coaches and a lot of different systems. And we played 22 league games. We didn't really have a non-conference schedule at all. So we were able to face those teams. 9 of them are here in Indy. So I think you do have some advantages that way, but you still got to come out and play. Just like in our teams, in our league, you got to play well, and you got to shoot the ball, and you got to not turn it over, and you got to rebound the basketball. You still got to do all the things that you have to do in a league like ours. So some of our cores will stay the same, and we're just getting ready to play a really good basketball team. But I would very similar to Maryland is what I would kind of compare them to.
And Steve, just one other thought. Would you describe your club as fearless?
Gritty, tough, been through a lot. And I want us to play like locked in, but I want us to have fun. And when we're having fun and we're flying around, we're a hard team, hard team to beat. But I would say resilient would be a really good term for our team. And this has been 4 years for Gio of being resilient and Miles and 3 years for Ron and 2 years for Paul, but resilient would be the term I would use.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll go to Keith Sargent next, NJ.com.
Hey, Steve. Speaking of Gio, I think as a sophomore, I think he had 1991 penned on his sneakers. This was a kid who kind of embraced the talk about the NCAA tournament early on in his career, and to get rewarded at this point. Did you, are you happy for him, the fact that he's been able to get rewarded for this? And then just from a basketball standpoint, are you curious on how he matches up against Clemson's guards?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for, he took on this journey, first, he and Miles and Mamadou Decore. So they came, we sat in a room, and we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a new practice facility. We didn't have a new locker room. We didn't have a lot of things that a lot of people have. And they took on this challenge even before any of that. And, and had to be resilient and tough to kind of manage their way through the journey. And, really excited for him. He's a good student. He's gotten better in basketball. And when he's playing at his best, he could play anywhere and against anyone. We talk a lot about, Gio playing that defense that he's shown signs of being great at. But when he's sharing the ball and he's shooting the ball and playing, playing loose and ready to go, I mean, he can play anywhere. I like our guards a lot, and I think this is a guard tournament. And, he's an important, part of our backcourt. Again, he's played through injuries. He's played through games we had to win. He's played through shooting slumps. He's played, ranked teams, and he's gone through a lot here. And you lean on guys that have a lot of experience at this time of the year. And Ron Harper's played a lot of minutes, and Miles has, and you lean on those guys, Jacob Young, Montez, to kind of lead you through these times. And these guys are good leaders too. So Gio has a chance here to, do some great things.
We'll go next to Zach Bazillier, New York Post.
Steve, when you were with the current key guys on this team, when you first got to Rutgers, how did you sell guys on the program? Obviously it had been a long time since Rutgers had won. Do you remember kind of how you convinced these guys to come?
Well, I mean, we just faced it head on. I mean, everyone else talks about what hasn't happened at Rutgers or what Rutgers isn't. I can only tell you what the Rutgers is that I know is, an elite academic institution that got into the Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten is an unbelievable academic and athletic conference. We got the invite. That says a lot about our university and our president and our academics and our sports. And I talked a lot about that, but we didn't shy away. We hadn't been to the tournament in 30 years. Everyone else was going to tell them that anyway. So I was telling them what could happen and what Rutgers was. And I wanted them to come to Rutgers for all the reasons I just told you. Like, we're a great academic institution. We're great people and a powerful university in the best state in the country, and we're the state university of New Jersey. And I really believe the things going on. I mean, no one ever talks about this, and they'll talk about the 30-year drought, but men's lacrosse is number 6, field hockey is number 9, rowing is number 10, wrestling is number 14 with 5 wrestlers going out to the national championship. Women's lacrosse is number 15. Women's soccer, Mike O'Neill does as good a job as anyone in the country, and he's number 21. And how about Coach Stringer, Hall of Fame coach, going to the tournament, I don't know, for the 100th straight time, and they're ranked number 21 in the country. And then we have Greg Schiano now at the helm in football, and he's an unbelievable football coach, that coach from the NFL, and has generated all kinds of excitement. So there's a lot of good things going on and at Rutgers, and a lot of good people. New president with generating all kinds of excitement. And we got great, student athletes. And they got through a pandemic, and our football team played every game. Our basketball team played every game. It's a great place. It truly is. And, shared that vision with our kids a long time ago. They believed in it. And now we get the new practice facility and all those things, but they believed in it before that. So that's a great part of where we are. And I think better days are ahead for Rutgers in every area.
Steve, was there one guy you think that was essential to the rebuild? I mean, is there one guy would you say it started with that made it easier to bring in some of the others?
Well, I mean, Pat Hobbs was the guy essential for, his vision and his work and trying to build a new building when we weren't winning. I mean, we hadn't had a new building built in a long time at Rutgers, 40-something years. So, Pat Hobbs, but I think everyone. I mean, Miles helped attract, good students for us. Gio helped attract kids that were under the radar screen a little bit, that weren't ranked, didn't have this star next to their name or that star. And, I think they helped attract good people. Like, I recruit good people. Ron Harper's family, if you met, it's great. Paul Mulcahy, great people. Miles Johnson, great people. And they wanted the players and their sons to have good experience, too. They wanted to enjoy college. They wanted to come to Rutgers for the college experience, too, not just the basketball. They wanted to get a degree. Every kid we've had has graduated, and we got a 3.5 team GPA. Like, those things were important to those people, and they're important to me. Their careers go by real quick. It's the rest of your college experience that really shapes your, future. And Randy Larson's our academic advisor. He was probably the next most important after Pat Hobbs. He's done an unbelievable job. So those are things that are really important to me. Always have been. Everyone else, it's every shot goes in or not. It's never been that way for me. It's, I want them to go to football games. I want them to enjoy college life and also be really good basketball players and get their degrees. And that's what they've been able to do. And I appreciate now that we have a resume now, instead of me just telling them those things, we can show them that we've done that. And that'll help us more than anything moving forward.
Going to go back to one from Keith Sargent.
Steve, you mentioned a 3.5 GPA. I think that's the best, at least in modern program history. Is there a correlation? Is there do the two go hand in hand? First time in NCAA tournament in 30 years, best GPA, and and APR is up as well. Is there a correlation? Do they go hand in hand?
Well, I definitely think there is. When you're in a good place, academically, and you're not worried and kids aren't concerned about every grade in the class, it takes a lot off their minds. But, hard workers, you don't get those grade point averages unless you're driven and hard workers. And that goes to basketball too. And then, in order to stay COVID free, you got to be unselfish and you got to sacrifice. Can't go on the weekends. I used to, every Thursday, Friday, I used to tell our guys, COVID's undefeated on the weekends. Like, so you guys got to stay in this weekend. You guys got to do that. And they sacrifice that, to do that. So I think it all goes, hand in hand. You need the support of up above to have the, support of Randy and those kind of people. You need your players to sacrifice. You need them to be hard workers. You need them to do those things. And you need a family that also emphasizes, Ron's mom wants him to get a degree. That's important. And therefore it's important to Ron too. So it's not just the coach. Trust me, they came with that from great families. So those things all are intertwined, in the success.
We'll go to the next question from Aaron Berman.
Hey, Coach. Clemson plays one of the slowest paces in the country. How important is it for you to make them uncomfortable, try to speed up the game, and does that actually fit, your team's style anyway?
Yeah, I mean, they will run too. So, I watch all the film and, they don't mind grinding the game out. They win in a lot of different ways, but they're really good in transition too. So I think they have a lot of skilled players. They shoot a lot of threes. So when they're not in transition, they're going to run some clock and do a really good job of spacing you out and shooting the ball. But the way their defense, really plays into the pace of the game, because you can't score easily against them, and that slows the game down. So it's really not so much the pace they get up and down when they can. So sometimes those stats and those things are a little misleading to really generate true thoughts of who they are, because it's hard to score on this basketball team, and that slows down the pace of the game.
We'll go next to Ralph Russo from the AP.
Hey, Steve, you talk a lot about what the players have sort of gone through this year just to get on the court. Has it given, and you've been in the coaching a long time, and I know you appreciate the players, but has it given you a new sort of appreciation? Have you sort of put more on, like, wanting to hear from your players this year, wanting to empower them a little more to, make sure that they're heard, make sure that their needs are met, maybe more so than in years past?
I mean, I really think, you have to be a good listener. And because we've really kind of been in a bubble, this whole time, really, you can't go on the road. You can't have people come and visit. You have more chances to, have discussions, and players have more chances to think about things. They're not heading to football games, and they're not heading, to concerts and those kind of things. But, I always appreciate our players' opinions. I always have. And, we're a player program. It's their program. It really is. The reason we're here today is because of our players and my assistant coaches who've done a great job. And, I haven't mentioned them yet, but I always want Brandon Knight, awesome, and Carl Hobbs and Steve Hain and list, Mike Larkin and Shoes for Trump, Ben, TJ, those guys. But, we're a players program, and, they have platforms now too to speak out, and that's great. I mean, I remember being a student athlete myself, and, we had a lot of opinions. We just didn't have, social media to kind of share it. We would just share it with our teammates or share it with, our friends or, the people in the dorm. Now they have a voice, and, we have great kids, and they want change too. There's a lot in this world that needs to be changed. So they want change, and I appreciate their opinions, and it brings about some healthy discussions too, which is another good thing.
We're going to go next to Tina Savasio from Fox, and then Lady Higgins.
Hi, Steve. I apologize if this was asked earlier. I had some technical problems, but you were mentioning just how the team had to get through this bubble really all. What's the atmosphere like for you guys and your setup in Indianapolis? I mean, how is it conducive to getting to practices, to still being able to be together as a team? How do you feel safe, and also what's missing from that true tournament atmosphere?
We'll feel really safe, first of all, and we're very thankful the NCAA was able to put this together. Last year was just a tough ending to the season for all student athletes, for everyone that would have got a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. And it's not a way you want to end your season, especially after having like really good season. So this is the alternative, but we're in a bubble. We're safe. We got here. We're able to practice. The facility is adjacent to the hotel. So we're able to go and lift weights and watch film, do the things we need to do to prepare. But they try to keep us safe in this bubble, and they're not letting a lot of people into the bubble that aren't a part of it. So we have a travel party of 30, and we're spending a lot of time, together. The guys are, resting their bodies and, they're not getting the usual experience that you would get from an NCAA tournament. I miss the fact that our fans can't be out here because Rutgers would have traveled big and large to get out here, and I would love for the fans to experience the excitement, of March Madness and all of our great alums and all the great people in New Jersey. So that's different. I'm not getting the ticket requests that I would normally get. That's very different. I'm sure our players are. I know some of the families are coming out, and we're lucky enough to be able to have their families share in the excitement, the ones that are willing to travel. So there's been, some really good things, but it's just a different time. And, most important thing is that we stay safe, and they're doing a good job of keeping it that way for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll go over to Lainey Higgins from the Wall Street Journal, and then Ricky Schneider, right?
All right. Hey, Coach. I understand that teams from the Big Ten have been in Indy for quite some time already and are likely, fingers crossed, going to stay there for a little bit longer. So given that your players and yourself had to pack for several weeks potentially, what sort of essentials did you bring? And, once you got there, was there anything where players realized, oh my gosh, I forgot socks and needed to order things on Amazon or anything like that?
Our managers do a great job. Our equipment guy, A-Mart, does a great job. We brought a lot of extra to prepare for whatever they forgot. They have everything here. We have laundry service. We could do whatever we need to do. I packed 3 bags. I've been, kind of traveling in 1 bag for the whole year. So packed for a long time. And we got here, I think, on Tuesday night for the Big Ten, tournament. And we've been here, for a while in Indy, and we're glad that we are. But we have backup plans. It's just like being a basketball coach. Game plan 1, 2, and 3. You never know when the whistle's going to blow or you're going to need laundry done. But we have game plans for everything. So well planned out by my staff, and and I think our players are getting things that they need to prepare for this game.
Yeah, and what's the game plan for entertainment? Because I understand that there is a lot of basketball and scouting and work to be done there, but there is a fair amount of downtime when you're just in a hotel room as well.
Yeah, there is. We try to plan some things for them too, but there's not a lot you could do inside the bubble. We brought some games and we brought some activities for them. They like to sleep a lot too, so they're right at home with getting extra sleep time in, and they get a chance to go for walks at the baseball, stadium in between. But, we're practicing hard. It's kind of like a regular day. And they're on their computers with virtual classes and all the things that they've been doing all year long, too. So they've had to learn, really, throughout the course of the year to kind of stay away, from people. So it's just nothing really new to them. They used to go to our practice facility and then go back to their rooms. And I would give them a list of teams and places that they can't go, that there's a COVID outbreak in, and every day I would update them on who they couldn't be around or see. So this is something that they've been dealing with for a year now.
Hey, Steve, so going back to the matchup against Clemson, they have 2 guards in particular that you're a little bit familiar with, in Alamir Dawes, that you recruited out of high school, and then you faced Nick Honor back in 2018. What can you tell me about those 2 in the matchup against them?
Yeah, I think anytime you get into a tournament like this, they're really good guards. So they can really shoot the basketball. Very impressive defensively, too. They really can hawk the ball, and they do a great job of ball pressure. But they're good players. They can shoot it. They can go by you. They have a center in Sims who's a matchup, problem, but they got a lot of guys on their perimeter that can cause many problems. They all can shoot the basketball too. He plays a lot of guys. They try to wear you down a little bit, but I think this whole tournament, as you look through it, teams that don't have good guards probably don't get here, and Clemson's guards are as good as any.
We'll go next to Chris Nowalski.
Hey, Coach. I know everyone talks about the 30-year drought, but Rutgers hasn't won the NCAA tournament game since '83. What would a win and a run be? Starting Friday night in the tournament.
Yeah, I tell our team all the time, we get a chance to create history, just by being here. And now we haven't won a game in a while, too. I understand, but you got to play well in order to win games. It's it's hard to get to the tournament, and then it's even harder to keep advancing. Keep telling our guys I don't want to put the uniforms away, but you need to play really good basketball, and that's everybody. I mean, Ron needs to rebound the ball, and Gio and Jacob Young need to take care of the ball, and Caleb McConnell has to come off the bench and do the unbelievable job defensively. Montez has to attack the rim. Cliff's going to play a big part too. Cliff has to do a great job of post defense against a 3-point shooter at the 5 spot and stay out of foul trouble. And Miles, like, everyone's got to do what they've done all year long at times, and we got to do it together. So winning a game would be awesome to keep this team continue to play and continue to have the season that we've had, and they've earned it. They've earned it. So now they got to go out and do the job on the court.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Got time for one or two more. We'll get from Coach before we get Ron on here. If either Zach or Tina had a second one.
Steve, how hard of a job has this been? To do what you've been able to do at Rutgers. People have always talked about just how impossible of a job it was. The 30-year drought. Can you just talk about how hard it was to convince people that you could win at Rutgers?
The first step in all that is getting the opportunity, and thankful that I got it. And the second step was the staff. Carl believed in our mission. Brandon Knight believed in it. Steve Haynes, Jay Young was with us at the time, believed in the mission. So you have to hire great staff, and then you got to surround yourself with really good people. And the people at Rutgers were willing to listen to any concerns or any upgrades that we needed to have. And, I just kept, you go to college because it's a great university, and Rutgers is a great university, great people and great programs, great, not just athletic, but academic programs. When Miles came to Rutgers for our engineering program, it had nothing to do with Steve Pikiell. It had to do with great engineering. If we didn't have a great engineering program, he wouldn't be here. So it's taking advantage of the great things that we have at Rutgers, and and then the opportunity to play in the most televised, the most fan-watched league in the country, and to play against Ohio State on a Wednesday, and play against Michigan on a Friday, and play against Michigan State on a Thursday, and then let's go to Indiana. I know that excited Ron Harper, like playing those teams that he had watched on TV growing up and that were always ranked in the top 20 and that always go to the NCAA. So we had a lot of great things. Was it hard? Everything's hard. It's hard to win one basketball game. I don't think anybody here, it's hard to win one basketball game. It's getting harder now, too. People talk about a game before it even starts. Or we're just going to beat that team. There's no team at this level that you're just going to beat. I mean, that's not how it goes. There's really good coaches and really good players on the other team. And, it's hard to win a basketball game. And it's hard to climb up a ladder in a league with 14 teams that never move down the ladder, So, it's really difficult. But, when you embrace a challenge and when people tell you can't do something, I think we have a staff and players that are okay with that. And I've said to our guys many times, bring it on. Nobody's going to help us here. Nobody's going to help us. We need to do it ourselves, and we need to figure out a way. And to the credit of the players, they figured out a way to win in this league. And it has been challenging, whether we had to go to Purdue and never won there, whether we had to go to Minnesota and never won there, whether we had to beat Michigan State and never beat Michigan State. But they broke through those walls, and hopefully as we move forward here, this group will be an example for the other ones to follow.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate you giving us about a half hour of your time here. We'll let you go and bring Ron Harper Jr. in after you.
Thanks for being on, guys. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We'll have Ron coming up shortly right after him. For anybody that has any questions for Ron, if you can use the raise your hand tool under the reactions tab here under that smiley face. If you see one, to let me know if you have a question. I'll get a queue going for Ron.
So everybody.
All right, Ron, thanks for joining us today. We're going to take some questions from the media for Ron. We'll start off with Jerry Carino.
Hey, Ron, welcome. Can you give everyone a sense of what it's been like for you guys to get to this point in terms of sacrifice, how hard it's been, how different this season has been for you guys on a personal level?
It's really satisfying to get here. I say that based on what happened last year. Like Coach Pikiell said last year, the alternative to March Madness with COVID was to just not have a tournament. So everyone on the team is real grateful that we even get the opportunity to be here in the bubble. It's a very extraordinary situation. Like you said, sacrifice. And sacrifice is kind of what this team stands on. We all sacrifice for each other. We stay to ourselves. We don't go out on weekends. We stay to each other, trying not to bring COVID into the practice facility. And like Coach Pikiell said, we haven't had one pause all year. And that's just a credit to the guys and the sacrifice that they brought to the table all year.
We'll go next to Steve Pikiell and then Bruce Beck.
Hey, Ron, along those lines, sacrifice 28 hours is a long time to spend in a hotel room. I'm curious what you did to kill the time. Did you watch something on TV? Did you go stir crazy? And is it true what Gio said about having an unlimited lifetime supply of deodorant now, thanks to the NCAA?
When we first got here, we got a duffel bag, and that duffel bag, it was a cushion bag, and it was just filled with deodorant, conditioner, hair gel, air freshener, cleaning wipes. It was an unlimited supply, so I'm sure I won't be running out of anything. But those 28 hours, we got here pretty late at night, so we spent about 12 of those hours sleeping and in bed before we got our next COVID test, and then I used the next 10, 12 hours just in my room, playing some Xbox, watching some film on the team we're about to play, and, just really trying to lock in, staying to myself, and trying to be productive with my time.
Just a quick follow-up, you're not allowed to go outside. I mean, is that weird in itself?
Yeah. I don't know I forget how many days we've been in here, maybe 3. I haven't been outside in 3 days, so stepping outside to go to the bus will definitely be a great experience.
Hey, Ron, congratulations on a very good season.
Thank you.
What's the formula for a Rutgers victory in this game and going forward in this tournament? What do you feel has to happen among your teammates in terms of offense and defense?
I feel like we just got to play connected and play with each other. When we're connected and we play together, I feel like we can play with anybody in the country. When we're making that extra pass, when we have each other's back on defense, whether it's a rotation or rotating to get a rebound. I feel like if we just play for each other, play for the dude with the same jersey on for you, we're going to be in great shape.
And if there's someone who has to take the last shot, do you think you have 3, 4 guys that can do that?
Definitely, when it comes to the last shot, we usually veer to the dude that's made a lot of them in jail. But I know this team, we got a lot of dudes that can make the final shot. And if you watch our practice, we got 4, 5, 6 guys taking that final shot in a close scrimmage. And it's just really showing the character of this team.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Keith Sargent and then Matt Sugam.
Hey, Ron. Speaking about Gio, his sophomore year, I think he had 1991 penned on his sneakers. I think it was a game at Maryland. He must have been a freshman at the time. Do you remember that? And just from a standpoint of the fact that he was able to kind of talk the talk and walk the walk, how happy are you that he actually got a chance to be able to finish it out in the NCAA tournament?
Extremely happy for him and extremely happy for all the guys. That was our goal. That was our mission from day one, and we all got recruited here. We didn't get recruited. We got recruited here to win. We got recruited here to go to the NCAA tournament, to break streaks, to set records, and we're doing just that, and we're doing it on a daily basis. And Friday, we get the opportunity to do it all over again and to win the first game in the NCAA tournament in 40 years.
Hey, Ron. It's been pretty well documented, with Gio and Miles and yourself included, of heralded recruits exceeding expectations. What does that say about this program's, player development program?
So like Coach Pikiell said, it's a players program. The player development is not just one coach. It's everybody in practice, whether we're getting extra shots up. The coaches around us, people we have around us, the coaches, the managers that show up every time we need them. It's just showing of the sacrifice. I always talk about sacrifice, because that's what this team really stands on. no matter what time it is, the coach will always find a way to come shoot you. No matter how inconvenient it is, the manager will make his way to the ABC to come rebound for you. So it's all about sacrifice. That helps us shoot the ball better. That helps us handle the ball better and avoid turnovers. And it shows in the grand scheme of things.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Tina Servacio.
Hi there, Ron. Ron, you were raised in and around basketball. You were raised in New Jersey, and now you're representing Rutgers on the biggest stage here in the tournament on Friday. How do you capitalize on this entire buildup, your whole life, basically, this 2-year journey that really Rutgers has been on, while also maintaining emotions and still taking on the challenge of playing Clemson?
It's just surreal to be able to do this for the State University of where I was born, where I was raised in New Jersey. And it's a great feeling, Wherever I go, my mom always tells me this, wherever I go, we're going to win. We're going to help a program turn and change, and, break records. That's just what we're doing. And being here at March Madness for Rutgers for the first time since 1991, it's a great opportunity. It's a great feeling. But we have a very well understanding that the job's not finished. So we still got a lot more to accomplish. And we're looking forward to bringing that mindset on Friday.
I know your mom watches your every move so closely. Where is your family there in Indianapolis? Are they all coming to watch the games? What's your situation with that?
Yeah, my family's coming down to watch the games in the next couple of days. So they'll be down here and they'll be at the arena ready to watch me play in March Madness.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Zach Bazilia and Stephen Wino after him.
Ron, what was the reaction that you got when you committed to Rutgers, and do you remember what exactly sold you about the program?
I remember the reaction. Like, I would always tell people I'm coming to Rutgers to win, and they'd be like, "Yeah, well, that's going to be hard. You're last in the Big Ten, not really have great facilities, this, that, the other thing." And it's just like I just took it on the chest. You just use it as fuel to the fire. I always told people I was coming to Rutgers to win. And I remember going on away games my senior year. I would get the Rutgers sucks chants and all that nonsense. And here and really winning games and helping change the program around, that really feels good. And when I took my unofficial visit in August, all the coaches talked to me. They talked about their vision. They talked about the plans that they have for this program. It was something you could really sell yourself on. One thing that really sold me is Coach Pikiell showed me his track record, where programs were before he got there versus when he left or when he was at his end of his tenure there. And it's really showing of him as a coach, him as a recruiter, and the coaching staff around him. We have a coaching staff full of winners, Final Four, Sweet 16, national championships, you name it. This coaching staff's probably done it. So it's just a coaching staff, a program built around people that know. I really want the formula.
Ron, was it at all in you knew the recent history, you grew up in Jersey. Was it at all kind of, when you decided to go there, like, this is going to be really hard, was there ever a fear of how hard it was going to change things?
No, definitely nothing's easy. Everything comes with hard work. When you play in the consistently best basketball conference in America, it's not going to be easy to change the program around, to win more games. But the commitment of the guys around me, the coaches around me, everybody around me to make this a winning program, it was really showing, and it gave me confidence that we could really do this. Because, every time we came in, as a freshman class, me, Martez, and Carol, we all had the same mindset. Just work our tail off, try to help this team as many games as possible. This was never about one person. This was never about a group of people. This was about all of us. And, us playing together and us being together and sharing one common goal, really helped achieve this.
Wacky question for you. Everybody knows the One Shining Moment song. As a kid, did you ever kind of pretend you were in that song, hitting a buzzer-beating shot or anything like that?
Oh, definitely. I think every basketball player has envisioned themselves in that video. One shining moment is like, it's a tradition. And I remember when we made the tournament, when we were going to make the tournament last year, I was like, damn, we have a chance to be in one shining moment. That's like a dream come true. Because I remember after every single March Madness, as soon as that one shining moment came out, I was just stalking YouTube for it. I was just excited to see it.
We'll go to Aaron Brightman next.
Hey, Ron. In terms of what matchup problems does Amir Sims pose for you guys? And as much as we talk about your offensive game, how important is it for you to set the tone on the defensive end and on the glass?
I definitely have to set the tone on the defensive end and on the glass. And Coach Pikiell, he gave me my stats when I get more than 7 rebounds or when I get more than 10 rebounds or more. You know, this team is really successful, but Amir Sims is definitely a matchup problem. And, you know, he's a center that can get a rebound and push it full court. He can catch it on the perimeter. He can post up. He has a really versatile game. You know, he's just different than the modern day center that we're used to facing in the Big Ten. So it will be an entertaining matchup to get to see him on Friday.
We'll go to Chris Nowalski and then Steve Pikiell.
Hey, Ron. I know Clemson has another Jersey guy in Alameda Dog. Did you play against him in high school at all? What do you remember about him?
I used to play Al a lot in AAU, high school, summer leagues, and I just remember he's a real scrappy guard. He'll do whatever it takes to win, and he plays hard, and he gives it his ball out there, and he'll do whatever for his team to win. It doesn't matter what you tell him. So he's a great kid, great player. I have tremendous respect for him and his game, and looking forward to playing another Jersey on Friday. In this bubble, you see tons of Jersey guys to your left, to your right, and this is crazy.
Thanks.
Hey, Ron, I know there's a lot going on just in this year for you guys, but based on what you guys have done in the pandemic and the sacrifices you made, do you think that this generation of college basketball players will be remembered as a turning point for player compensation somewhere down the line?
I sure hope so. This group of players that play college basketball right now, we're very active in the fight for our name, image, and likeness to be passed. And, this is a group of college kids that sacrificed more than anybody ever has when it comes to playing college basketball. We've been isolated from friends, family, girlfriends, etc. for the whole year. And we got to Indianapolis, they moved us to an NCAA hotel, and now we're in a bubble. So this group has sacrificed a tremendous amount. Hopefully we're a turning point and where the NCAA could look at us and potentially pass that name, image, and likeness laws that we should rightfully receive.
Got time for one or two more if anyone else has a question for Ron. I'm not sure if Ralph Russo is still with us. If there's anybody else that has one last question for Ron, feel free to sneak it in here. And if not, thank you, Ron, for your time today.
Thank you, guys.